So I want to discuss how to actually make money online in today's video, because YouTube is filled with nonsense and fluff and people trying to sell you stuff. And that's not what this video is going to be about. This video is going to be about how I've actually made money online, how I would be making money online if I was to start scratch again right now. And a little bit of background on me, guys. I do have multiple millions in dollars, right? I do have multiple businesses that make me money. I do have multiple YouTube channels that get thousands and thousands of views every day that make me money. And none of that was me boasting to tell you that I have any of that, because actually I'd rather keep it stum. But because of the way the algorithm works and because of the way the viewing behaviors of people who watch YouTube, they want to know that I'm not just yapping from a position of someone who's trying to make money from them, because I'm actually not on this channel. This channel is right now getting no views at all, and I actually find it rather exciting to be able to talk to people who are at the very start of their journey, because that's the most exciting part. The most exciting part is having an idea, building a business. And if you're watching this right now, maybe you're at work, maybe you're at school, maybe you're at home on a break, or whatever it is, guys, there is an opportunity right now that nobody has had before in the past. It's 2025 and it's never been easier to make money online ever before. I wish 10 years ago, when I was 24, there was this opportunity. So if you're anywhere between 17 all the way up to 50, 60 years old, there's a massive opportunity at our hands. And I want to talk about how to make money with no BS. All right, so let's give you a little bit of a background. I already gave you my sales pitch on me, but also I'm 34 years old. I'm not a 19-year-old kid who's trying to tell you that you can make money online, but I've never made money online. And I only made my first million when I was 30, and I left my job when I was 29. So I didn't start super early on. I didn't do all of this stuff. And even for me personally, seeing these really young kids doing it, it really gave me, it didn't put me off so much, but it made me feel bad about myself, because I felt like I'd missed the boat, or I was too lazy when I was their age, or whatever it was, right? But in actuality, they're young and they have the opportunity that I never had when I was that age, but I have it now, and the opportunity is there, and it doesn't really matter how old I am. So hopefully that clears a little bit of worry that you might have if you're the same age as me right now, if you're a little bit older than me, or whatever it is. There is still massive opportunity and you can still do it. All right, so how do we actually make money? Well, let me tell you some stories on how I've made money, and what I would rinse and repeat, and what I would definitely not do again. So at the very start of my journey, I started my first online venture with e-commerce. So it was when dropshipping was popping off. It was just before the old Rona Ronason. I better not say it out loud, but that thing that went around and everyone got in lockdown and all of that nonsense, yeah? So I started then, and I started with e-com, and I didn't join a course, I didn't pay anyone any money, I didn't do any of that. I just watched YouTube videos. Now, those YouTube videos showed me how to make a Shopify website. They showed me how to take pictures. They showed me how to edit those pictures. I use a platform called Canva. And in fact, my business that I do now is very much about content creation. I use Canva every day. So it's funny how you'd start one way, and even 5-6 years down the road, you're still using the skills that you learned from a completely different venture. But I started e-commerce, we're doing drop shipping, and guys, you're going to lose money. I lost money for months and months and months because I was testing the wrong products. I didn't know what I was doing when it came to ads, but that is just how it goes. You have to be ready to lose money. That's why you have to be in a position when you start of a position of someone who has, a little bit of money. I'm not talking big money. I'm not talking millions. I'm not talking hundreds of thousands. I'm just talking about a safety net. That safety net, in my opinion, is 6 months to a year of your rent, your utilities, your bills, living expenses, right? So you can go on for a year and really put your all into it. The main differentiator between people that I've seen make it and the people I've seen who don't make it is the fact that a lot of people don't give themselves the opportunity to actually do it, right? So I see so many people, they try for a week, they try for a month, it doesn't work, so they give up, they go back to the job, or they try something else, and they keep jumping and jumping and jumping. It's shiny object syndrome, right? They jump to the next thing, jump to the next thing, jump to the next thing, but they never give that one thing the opportunity to work. And what I'm very good at, and what I think is one of my strengths, is I'm like hyper focused on something, and I basically will do it until it works, or I'm 100% sure it's not going to work. So with the e-com, I actually had a friend who messaged me randomly one day, and we had a chat about what he was doing, and it was completely random, right? And he had told me about what he was doing, which was Amazon FBA, and that means fulfilled by Amazon. So it's not quite drop shipping, but it's still in the e-commerce space. You just use Amazon rather than your own website. But he had told me what he was doing, and it was my first ever look into what was possible online. So that sent me down the rabbit hole. I started to research, and I landed on drop shipping. And I saw so many people making this work. And I also found opportunities of not just like the big players, you know, the famous people on YouTube, but also people on YouTube that was small. And it was very clear that they were actually making real money from this. It wasn't just a cash grab where they were trying to sell a course. So I was like, okay, people can make this work. People just like me can make this work. So I'm going to make it work. And then I put all of my effort into it for about 4 months until I hit my first product that made me about, I think it was about $2,000 in profit. And one of the big things about e-commerce, and this is the BS that I'm talking about, I don't want to be talking any BS, is people talk about their revenue. They don't talk about their profit. And you'll see this all over the internet with all of these industries, especially the big guys, especially the big influencers in the space. They'll be like, oh yeah, we just made $10 million this month, and if we do this for the whole year, you know, that's $120 million that we do a year. And actually they're hiding the fact that, you know, their profit margins are maybe 5 to 30% on the big high end, right? So, you know, when someone's making 100K, at max they're making 30K profit. More likely they're making 10 to 20K profit. So take that, everything that you hear on the internet, with a grain of salt. Now, I'm not saying that 10 to 20K isn't a lot of money. This is also one of the arguments that I always had when I was talking about drop shipping on my channel. My profit margins were tiny. I think I was hitting, like, on average, including ad spend and COGS, and that's costs of goods, about 12%. That was what I was doing. But I was doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. At one point, that was, you know, some days it was that big, some months, some weeks. But my point is, you know, even with a small profit margin, you can make a lot of money, but you got to spend a lot of money. So the risk is there. And, you know, it's scary spending that sort of money on a credit card, especially when you're not used to business. But I don't want to digress. That's the kind of cool thing about this chat is I'm not editing these and I'm just talking to my phone like a crazy person. But the no BS is you can hunker down and make a lot of money if you just focus on that business. So to get back to the story, about 4 months in, I made that $2,000. And funnily enough, that was when I was 29 and I decided, you know what, that's enough money for me to survive. And I went into my boss's office and I quit. Like, nah, I don't need you guys anymore. I'm leaving. It's over for me, and I'm done with all this nonsense of working for someone. So I resigned, and me and my partner, we went traveling, and I wanted to go and visit her family. So we went to visit her family and ended up getting locked down. Just so happens that was when the old Rona-Ronason started, and we ended up getting locked down, and I had no choice other than to 100% focus on e-com. Now, you don't need a lockdown to 100% focus, but what you do need is that blanket, that safety net that we just spoke about, the 6 months to 1 year. So I focused on it, and guys, it was painful at the start. I kept making losses. That original store was something to do with pets. It was either a dog toy or it was socks for cats. Something ridiculous, right? Because that's what happens on dropshipping. You need these viral products. But what happened was I lost a lot of money, and then I came across this product and it just worked, right? It just worked, and I was like, oh my God, I found it, I've done it. And, you know, I had a friend that I'd met online, and we were discussing it, we were testing products together, and we found it. He found a product, I found a product, and we just started piling our money into the ads, right? And it just worked. It worked and worked and worked, and all I did was double down, triple down, and that showed me how you can be successful online, right? You're stumbling along for so long, trying all these different things, and eventually you come across something and you grab it with your both hands and you double, triple, quadruple down, and you just keep making that work. And that's how I've continued in my online ventures and all of my businesses, and that's how they've all ended up working. Is I get something, I focus on it, and then when I find the little spark, double, triple, quadruple down. Exactly the same thing with my YouTube channels is what I did. making videos all the time, every single day, different videos, talking about different things, yada yada. And then I found cryptocurrency and I doubled, tripled, quadrupled down, and it just so happened that that's what blew up. So you can apply that same logic to everything, but it's not easy. One, it's not easy. Two, you don't need to pay anyone. You can learn it all online for free. Just the paying people part means that it's much quicker to get the information you need. So I'm in no way against courses or mentorships or anything like that, because you can get the information much faster, all right? You can pick someone's brains, you can see what they've done, you can apply what they've done. I did it from YouTube because I didn't have any money I wanted to spend on that, didn't have any extra money at the time, but it still works. It just takes a lot longer, but both of those methods work. So what you need to understand, a no BS approach, is that it's not easy. Nothing is guaranteed. If anyone gives you a guarantee, unless it's something like, you know, if you take my course in 1 year, I guarantee that you'll make $1,000 a month. And if you don't, I'll give you your money back. That's an all right guarantee. That's realistic. But if someone says, I guarantee you'll become a millionaire in 1 year or whatever it is, that's nonsense. Don't take guarantees. They're all nonsense. Because nothing is guaranteed, nothing is easy, nothing is self-explanatory, and it's all a learning curve, and it's all bloody hard. But what you can do is you can just focus on something. And something I always like to say is try and find something that you actually enjoy. If you like taking pictures, try and find a business there. If you like selling stuff or sales, try and find a business there. If you like talking to the camera, or you like acting, or you like dancing or anything, try and make content around that. That's the sort of idea. And then to wrap this all up into what I would do right now if I was starting again, the one thing that I see that is so similar to drop shipping back in must have been 2019, right? The one thing that I see is the same. Not the same. I actually think this is a much bigger opportunity, and it's actually much cheaper to start. That thing is TikTok Shop. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of people talk about it. But the key to TikTok Shop, and the thing that is so different to dropshipping, is you right now can go out and find a product. And I'm sure there's tools, just like there was back in 2019, 2020, 2021, where you can see things that work. I'm sure there's tools that you can make things work. But if you don't want to spend any money, just go on TikTok and search for what people are already selling, right? And then there'll be tools, again, that you can see if it's working or not, but you can use those or not. Pay this, so the same thing, it's paid, same as the course, when you can pay to play, pay to win faster, right? Figure out what you think is working and then test it. Make a YouTube account, and then what you can do is this. You can make content. Make 50 pieces of content a day of you showing this product, trying to make it viral, trying to do that. And the key to TikTok is you can post as much as you want, and one of those, each one is like a ticket, right, to going viral. If you get one viral video and it's connected to a TikTok shop, you can make so much money, all right? It's unbelievable. I listen to podcasts in my spare time when I'm walking around, and hearing what some of these guys are doing. And because I know the numbers, right? Sometimes when you hear people online and they're talking about these numbers, it sounds like nonsense, but guys, it isn't nonsense. Some of these guys might be lying, but there are people who make that money. And that's the opportunity that I see right now, TikTok Shop. That's what I would be starting right now if I wasn't already doing, you know, the different businesses that I do run now, or if I had time to start all over again. That's where I would start myself. Especially if I didn't want to go down the content creation route of being an influencer myself. But the second best thing, or probably the number one thing, but that would be something that I would add on to this, is creating a personal brand. A personal brand, I think, trumps everything. If you can create a brand where, you know, you're a notable figure and people want to listen to you and they want to hear from you, then it becomes really easy to, you know, sell different products, to sell different opportunities, communities and all of that. So the way I would build it, again, I would start on TikTok and I would post more than anyone else. I would just post more than them. Go and find someone who's in the same niche that you aspire to be in and post more than them. That's what I would do. That's my no BS guide to making money right now. And guys, if you made it this far in the video, I'm pretty sure no one right now is watching these videos or making it this far. But if you have, leave me a little comment in the comment section, ask me a question, and hopefully I can respond with a video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.